On a freezing Christmas Eve, a single father sees a little girl digging through trash for food. He freezes, his heart races. Something about her feels hauntingly familiar, and the truth he discovers will leave him shaken forever. Before we start today's story, leave a comment below and let us know which city you're watching from. And at the end, don't forget to rate it from 0 to 10. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the story. Snowflakes drifted through the night like tiny shards of glass, stinging against the skin. On the corner of a dimly lit street, a little girl knelt beside an overflowing trash bin, her small hands trembling as she searched through scraps. Her hair clung to her damp cheeks, her coat torn and far too thin for the biting cold. From across the street, a man stopped in his tracks. His name was Daniel, a single father carrying 2 paper bags of groceries. His steps faltered as the sight before him cut through him like a blade. For one fragile second, the world seemed to pause, his heart tightening at the quiet injustice unraveling in front of his eyes. Daniel knew hunger. He knew cold. He knew what it felt like to watch the world move on while you were left to survive on scraps. Years before, Daniel had worn a uniform, proudly serving his country in places where the nights were darker than fear itself. He carried memories that refused to fade, the thunder of explosions, the cries of men who never made it home, the bitter stench of smoke. He carried honor, but he also carried loss. His wife had left when the weight of his silence became too much, leaving him to raise his son alone. He worked long shifts at a factory, saving every cent to keep a roof over their heads. He had fought battles both on foreign soil and within the 4 walls of his small apartment. That night, as the snow fell heavier, Daniel tightened his grip on the grocery bags. He could have walked past. He could have pretended not to see. People were already passing by in silence, their eyes fixed ahead, ignoring the child who searched for hope among the trash. But Daniel's steps refused to move. Something inside him whispered, "This is not just a girl. This is a test." He crossed the street slowly, his boots crunching against the ice. When the little girl looked up, her eyes stopped him cold. They were wide, innocent, but carrying a sorrow far older than her years. And in those eyes, Daniel saw something that nearly brought him to his knees, his own son's reflection. She froze, clutching a piece of stale bread as if it were gold. Fear flickered in her gaze, expecting anger, rejection, or the sharp sting of cruel words. But Daniel did not speak. Instead, he lowered one of the grocery bags to the ground and gently pushed it toward her. "Take it," he whispered finally, his voice trembling. The girl's lips parted in shock. For a long moment she did not move, as though kindness was a language she had forgotten. Then, slowly, she reached out with shaking hands. A woman hurried from the shadows, a mother, thin and exhausted, her coat buttonless, her face hollow from struggle. She grabbed the girl protectively, ready to apologize, ready to beg. But when her eyes met Daniel's, she stopped. There was no judgment there, no pity, only a quiet recognition. Silent dignity is the loudest cry of honor, Daniel thought, and sacrifice is love without words. In that moment, something shifted. Passers-by began to stop. One man laid down his own bag of food. A woman wrapped her scarf around the child's neck. Strangers, once silent, now moved with quiet solidarity, drawn by the courage of one man's choice to stand still in a rushing world. Daniel did not stay for thanks. He simply nodded to the mother, lifted his son's groceries, and walked away through the snow. But in the silence of that night, a truth echoed within him. Sometimes, the smallest act of kindness is a greater victory than any battle fought with weapons. Strength is not in the voice that shouts, it is in the hand that gives, the memory of his fallen comrades whispered to him. And on that cold Christmas Eve, a single father gave not just food, but dignity. He gave hope, and he reminded the world that honor still lives quietly among us, Sometimes the most powerful battles are not fought on battlefields, but in everyday streets, where compassion and courage test the strength of the human spirit. Where are you watching from tonight? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if this story touched your heart, subscribe for more stories that honor silent heroes among us.